I keep messaging someone, but they don't reply. They see my message but don't answer. Let me explain this problem to you. Maybe this is happening to you for the first time. You need to clear your mind and listen carefully. I apologize if anything I say upsets you, as some things might be hard to hear. In this situation, when the relationship was starting, things were different. Messages were replied to immediately, often within a minute. He used to respond quickly, but now time has changed. The other person is ignoring us more and more. He doesn't message us. If he does, it takes him a long time to reply. He sees our messages and ignores them. What is he doing? What does he want? The first thing you must remember is that you are no longer a challenge for him. When we are a challenge for someone, they know they need to win us over. But once they feel they have us, they stop caring. They start taking us for granted and don't value us as much. They might think, why should I reply to their message now? I can do it later. It doesn't matter. The result, there isn't any. So the main thing to keep in mind is that you are no longer a challenge for them. The guy who isn't good at all keeps thinking, this person must be crazy, but my best friend is always messaging me. He's thinking this way because we've tricked him so well. If we message him and he sees it, but then we don't reply, he starts wondering what's going on. He begins to see it as a challenge because of the timing we chose. The other person will definitely think, why is this happening? Humanity means that we should understand people. Sometimes when someone doesn't give us attention or lift us up, we feel hurt because our ego is affected. We might think, how dare they ignore me in the game? But when you understand the other person better, you realize that maybe they see no point in talking to you anymore. They might think you're always desperate or that you just want to talk for the sake of talking, without any real reason or important topic. This can make them feel bored or uninterested in you. The thing is to make them feel bored or uninterested in you. Not interesting because we haven't learned it. If you're talking to someone, there are certain rules. The technique I'm going to tell you should not be applied in a husband-wife relationship because it is more complicated. First, you need to identify the behavior, what exactly is happening. Our first step will depend on their behavior. If they are behaving well, that's great. But if you notice that they've been ignoring you for a few days and not valuing you, then you should send a message. In that message, you should write that you value your relationship with them. If you're ignoring me and I'm getting affected by it, please tell me if we should continue or not. I can't keep going like this. If you're bothered, we can separate. Just send one message, and after that, don't keep messaging repeatedly. You can also send this second message. This message can be a good one. You can send it to someone saying, I feel like you're busy with other things and ignoring me. It might be better if we take some space, so you can focus on what you're busy with. Maybe in the future, we can see if we can be together again. This message is great because it doesn't attack the other person's personality or make them defensive. It's to the point and short, and you're not blaming the other person by saying things like you did this or that. You have only wasted time on the problem, and you've shown that you are okay with moving on. This makes the other person think that you are fine with moving on, which gives them the wrong idea that you accept their behavior and can easily move on. If they don't change their behavior, you can and will move on. After that, don't send any more messages. Just stop there and wait for their response. When you do get a response, whether it's positive or not, take your time to reply. Even if their response is positive, wait at least 2 to 3 hours before replying to show that you are in control. Even if someone is busy, if they respond negatively, you should just end it there. Don't try to contact them further. This will create more distance. If you stop contacting them, they might come back to you on their own after some time. Just wait for a few days or even longer. Sometimes their behavior might change and they might want to see you again. If your response is desperate, they will notice it. If you act like you can't move on, they might not take you seriously and might stay away. Your response will influence how they feel about you. If you act calm and composed, they might reconsider. If they don't reply, don't send more messages. If they come back, don't seem desperate. Only send one message at a time. If they reply positively, wait 2 or 3 hours before responding. Don't send too many messages in a day. If they messaged you before and you're still interested, keep that in mind. If their interest seems to be fading, decide if you want to try to rekindle it or move on. If they're not messaging frequently, don't worry about it. Sometimes things like this happen only rarely. If it does happen, try to ignore it and don't make it an issue. After a while, you can send a random message. For example, you might say, "Remember the movie we talked about last time? I saw it and liked it." Or you can mention something like, "Remember the restaurant we talked about? I went there and liked the food." If something interesting happens to you, you can share that too. The key is to focus on positive or interesting things, and not on the fact that they didn't message you back. In 2 minutes, you will see that if you have a good personality, others will respond well to you. They will never leave you.